the markets were clearly expecting you to raise rates at this meeting, and you didn't. Is that a failure of communications on your part, and is there a risk that you are going to become unreliable boyfriend number 2?
It's not compulsory for the Governor of the Bank of England to be an unreliable boyfriend. We didn't say we were going to act at any particular meeting. But the framework that I set out, deliberately set out, remains true today, and will go on. I mean, in a sense, I was stating it, as one of my colleagues said, to be a truism. If we saw inflation pressures which translated into medium-term inflation expectations, particularly, and you may observe that's why I said quite a bit about medium-term inflation expectations in the remarks I just made. It was deliberate in that sense. Then, of course, we would have to act, because that would, and it goes back to Faisal's question, that would be the point at which we would see the pressure from inflation translating into things that were not merely transient necessarily, and would cause potentially a pass-through also into wages, and a much longer term and more serious inflation problem. And frankly, if it helps, I'll say that again today, because it remains, of course, obviously true. Now, what I would say about this meeting is that I think no member of the committee, me included, has ever, and we wouldn't, of course, made any statement about, and therefore at the next meeting you can expect us to do the following. We don't make those sorts of remarks. I would also make one other observation, which I think is very interesting. By the way, I think the coverage has been very good in this respect. It was, as many of you have written in advance of today, it was a very close call.